So don't worry about that now.
Don't worry about that.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you later.
Alright, good luck.
Thank you. Right.
Yeah, we've only just, we need to check levels
I know.
and stuff.
Okay, so stuff will be coming through the desk, so I'll be able to check the feed in the other room.
Okay.
This is Peter Dave, by the way.
Nice
He's
to
a
meet you.
lecturer, and he's come over specially to hear you, so you'd have an audience.
Nice to meet you.
So you're
Hope
doing
you
really
enjoy
well.
it.
Don't stress. Keep going. It's
Okay.
going to be great.
Thank you. Okay,
So I have the Great Escape, I have ZZ,
See, yeah.
I have, okay, so I don't need that for now.
The song. Is that the song?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 9, yeah. Oh, we're missing it.
So I need,
Charles Bynum's thing, isn't it? Should I go and tell him?
no, 2 seconds, where's the drop? Live. Yes. Right. So what else do I need? I need your,
Fashion. Is at the top though, isn't it?
No.
Say fashion.
Where?
Fashion mix down.
okay, so what's going in first?
Fashion mix downs first.
Okay.
And then festival.
Great Escape Festival.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then ZZ. Queensy.
Interview.
Interview.
Just let me check that's the interview.
And
Aaron, this is your interview. What's?
what's going on?
Is it just the speakers not turned on?
No, the speaker's turned on.
So today I've brought back
Great Escape.
The Great Escape Festival is an annual event which takes place in Brighton every single year. It focuses on new music and up and coming acts. It features acts from around Europe
So try taking my
and
back to the
beyond.
beginning and see.
Will you get Marley again because none of the levels are working?
Yeah, is he down by the kit room?
I don't know. You'll have to find. You'll have to find them quickly,
Yeah,
though.
he's probably going to be in his
30
room.
minutes.
Jesus Christ.
What's after that?
Emily, can you ask Aaron how long the song is? Oh, he's not you.
What's after
Um,
interview?
Interview is the rundown. Charlie's rundown. And then
Okay, none of these are working. And then the Infinity War.
yeah.
So these are the first two anyway.
Yeah.
So
And then
today I've brought back
Are they working as in, like,
fashion
levels?
choices. So what's your favourite type of 90s fashion? Like a Kurt Cobain or like a clueless
Maybe
Paul
one
Prince?
again.
I think more Kurt Cobain, considering the amount of excessive.
Right.
Try the circle. You just had it.
There's acts from around Europe and
What?
beyond.
What is that?
This year,
It's not. So it's playing, but and then when none of these are working either. Number one is working, but the other three aren't. They're coming out of different.
I'm just going to go and ask Aaron how long the song is.
He's in the studio, yeah. Sorry about this. It's just,
No, mate, it's not your fault at all. Got to restart Myriad, okay?
okay, that's fine. Yeah. Can I just remember what? So 2377.
Do you know what the length of the song is for?
Ask Emily. Can I also? Did she print the scripts yet? Will you?
Because we need the length of the song to
Okay.
broadcast that over.
I also did she print the scripts yet?
That's fine. Okay.
I'll delete all the stuff off the desktop when we're done as well.
Yeah.
3. Oh, there they are. Perfect.
Okay, so can I just test
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Parliamentary. Parliamentary.
You've put Q.
The parliamentary questions with the Prime Minister last week. Parliamentary questions. The parliamentary.
Perfect. Thanks, Mary. Okay, thank you.
Parliamentary question.
Oh, that cart as well. So
Parliamentary.
Okay.
Yeah, but
This
you
one.
want to trim it down.
Yeah. Okay,
Oops.
perfect. Thank you.
Right,
Can you hear me, Emily? What second again? So the fashion one is first. What second?
Give me a sec.
She'll tell me now. So.
Give me a sec.
See if they can reach me from that.
Festival. Third?
Right, we'll see if they can reach me.
What's
from
third?
That. 'cause you've untangled
Festival.
it. You've untangled it for the most part from there, so we should.
Yeah.
What's third?
Oh no, there you go.
Third is Z,
Turn
Queen
that
Z.
down.
Crazy.
Fourth
And
is
then
Rundown.
last is the Infinity,
Yeah.
Infinity War, yeah?
Yeah.
So today I
Last
thought
is the
Beth
Infinity War.
Fourth is Rundown. So what's your favourite type of
Fourth is
night?
Rundown.
So today I've brought Beth into the studio to talk about her fashion choices. So what's your favourite type of 90s fashion? Like a Kurt Cobain or like a clueless floral princess?
I think more Kurt Cobain, considering the amount.
An event which takes place in Brighton and Hove every single year. It focuses. The Great Escape Festival is an annual event which takes place in Brighton and Hove every single year. It focuses on.
I sorted it all out now.
And I play guitar.
Z and I play guitar.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
I'm Z and I play guitar and sing in Queen Z.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So let's talk about the band to begin with for a little bit. So
Yeah.
first of all, for people that aren't familiar with Queen Z, how would you describe your music? All right. Yeah.
MC5 playing Scissor Sisters songs.
Yeah. Okay. That's pretty. On the
rundown, we have an update.
Come in.
This week on the rundown, we have an update.
Can you hear me, Aaron?
It's cool. All good.
Sorry? Yeah, your interview is working. Can you hear me?
We've got
Right.
Interview working.
Can you speak
okay?
into the mic properly?
Is my interview working okay?
Can you speak into the mic properly?
You got
Yeah, I
me
can hear you
literal.
fine. Can you hear me?
like so much the time.
I can't hear you now.
Come into the mic properly.
We've got 4 scripts, so I'll have one, Aaron will have one.
I need one.
Ocean, and then
Okay,
you
how's
three
that? Is that better?
make sure I'm keeping end time as well.
Keep talking, Aaron. Just read your script or something. I don't know.
Can we have the
Why is
aircon?
it-
We don't need the aircon.
Why is his mic so low?
I don't have a script.
It's not the same mic we used last time, was it?
Yeah, how's that? Is that
That's
better?
yeah, that's better.
It's
yeah.
not like you've got a lisp or
Is that
anything.
level? Just keep talking. Can you hear me at all? I can't hear you. Yeah, how's that? Is that better?
Yeah, that's
keep going.
just keep talking. Keep
Is that
talking.
level? Just keep talking. Can you hear me at all? I can't hear you.
Probably best to turn it.
Yeah, keep going. Just keep going. Okay, is that fine? Yeah, is that fine? Okay, I'm just going to move that out of the way. Just really
Bring it up
bugging
to
me.
your.
Okay,
bring it
yeah.
up to
So
your actual-
yeah, welcome to the show. Hello,
up to your
welcome to
mouth.
the show. 1 2 1 2. Is that fine? How's that? Is that better?
Yeah, that's a lot better. Yeah, that's a lot better. Just keep talking like that, yeah.
Keep talking like this. How's that? Is that better?
Is she going to put the script for us?
Yeah, she's doing it.
Okay.
I've literally just finished.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, just keep talking like this. Keep talking like this, talking straight into the mic. Script will be here in a minute and I'll practice some of that.
Just keep talking, man. Just get yourself warmed up.
Yeah, keep talking. Hello, and welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. You've got some features.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, keep talking. Hello, and welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. We've got some features of Queen Z today. Feature of Queen Z, and then we've got film interviews. You've got The Great Escape with bands such as The Fame and Wayward Sons at other venues all across Brighton. And then we've got another feature about 90s fashion that was done by Emily. And there's another feature, I can't remember what it is, Charlie's 1 minute segment thingy. And then, yeah, I won't say that in the actual... I'll find a better way to say it.
Right, you can shut up now.
Okay, and then
What else have we got? Then I'm just going to blag about stuff if we fall short. So
Infinity War again.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. But once you've got a free space.
Yeah. Okay, that's the end of the show. Bye.
If I need to talk to you like in between a thingy, I'll just do talk back like now, yeah. In between an interview or song or whatever. Have you got that song up, Sheen? Yeah?
What song?
His song.
It's there, but it's here. But if we need to,
we're using it.
Are we?
Yeah. All right.
Where we'll show you now.
Can you see that green light?
Sorry. Okay. Thank you. And there's about 15 pages.
Yeah.
12. Should have given us 1. She said give us 4. Okay. Well, it's better 1. You got a script?
No. What? Go ask her.
She's got a script.
I'll have a look at that.
Okay, thanks.
That ain't right.
Yeah, where's the song going?
Hello. The song is there, but I can't put it in yet because I have no space. I have only 4 tracks, so I can't put the song in. So, hello and welcome back to this week's discussion with better 90s fashion.
I do have a photo of the rundown if you want it that style as well.
Yeah. This is so unorganized, man. Why didn't you print one script?
I don't know why. We asked for 4.
No, the great skip. She's successful, that's fine. And after that is 1 minute 12.
Are you sure this is helping you separate them
I
again? You always do this. I think you should keep them together more. I think you would. Your mother did, mate. No, cheese. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Right, now put that one down.
Right, I need that one.
That one.
No, we need that one. We're going to have to use the shorter one because that's not a full one. She didn't print them all out. So
right.
give this one.
Yeah, 2 seconds. That was Emily. 7:42.
That's fine.
No, fuck
That
off.
one's Aaron's.
Hello.
How long we got?
3
1 minute.
minutes.
Did you say 1?
Yeah. Just a
Like 3.5, like 3 minutes.
That was Emily.
Right, that's all yours, mate. I've given you for the festival 30 seconds at the end if you want to talk about anything. You've got a minute and a half. With that 30 seconds, you've got a minute to fill in anywhere.
Yeah, the level's still right there.
Yeah.
Okay, the level's still alright there.
Was in the way.
What's it? So, do I play the Great Escape one after he says all the information you need to know, or what's this about? If you
That's him. I asked that actually. I forgot to ask that. I think he's putting that in there. I'll ask it. We've got to talk about it. We'll do it.
Yeah,
Aaron, you know before the Great Escape Festival one, where it says for several years to find out all the information you need to know at the end.
And then it says about the few bands that I've added in. When are you saying that?
Are you saying that before I play it or after I play it? Here.
It says about what bands are playing. A4, isn't it?
Am I playing it? Am I playing the audio once you say all the information you need to know?
Yeah.
Are you going to say a few bands and line up our Adoi and stuff?
Yeah, I'll say it as it is on here.
Okay, and then I play the audio at the end of when you say super organism.
Yeah, I'll say it as it is on here, and then you can play it, and then I'll.
Why did you choose to put that one in?
Just for the lulls, really. For the lull, I just said that for bands.
Why did you choose to put that one in?
1 minute
With all the
50.
bands playing.
Right, Charlie, do you want to sit down beside me so you can press the green button and shit from?
Fashionista. Is that how you say that word?
Yeah. Oh, wait,
So you're
no
not
one
doing it,
has
I'm
to
doing
go
it
back.
now.
Fashionista, is that how you say that word?
And stuff there. So.
Now I need you back in my face. Scripts. We've got a minute and a half.
So once he finishes in today's time, yeah.
You need to get. I need one as well. I need her to hurry up.
Is she coming back with more?
She should be.
Well, I hope she.
1 minute 15.
Yeah, I brought back into the studio.
Say.
Alright. So today I've brought Beth into the studio.
Thank you. What is going on here?
1 minute. 1 minute, Aaron.
I think that needs sorting. I think those ones are for O'Sheen. Yeah, these 3 are
Right,
for O'Sheen.
I'm fine here for a while, just give me.
Yeah, it's just those last ones are for you. 45 seconds, Aaron.
That's those ones.
Sorry, Aaron's got these ones. No, he hasn't got. He hasn't got. Has he?
Yeah.
I've got these here.
They were just all muddled up.
Yeah.
To A16, yeah.
I don't know. I can just share with you now. So 38 seconds.
20 seconds, Aaron. I'll count you in.
Make sure speak into the mic now, yeah? So a bit
closer,
louder,
mate.
just
15 seconds.
Yeah, that's perfect, yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
just
I'm
like
doing
that.
this for a while, at least, I think, sure.
10.
Just like that. Yeah,
9,
that's fine. Okay.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to week 4 of the Vibe. On this week's show, Emily had 90s.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to week 4 of The Vibe. On this week's show, Emily had 90s fashionista Beth to have a discussion on her thoughts and why 90s fashion trends are making a comeback. Also, Charlie had a chat with Marvel fan Matt about Infinity War. And I also caught up with punk band Queen Z, and Charlie is talking about things music in the rundown. But now it's time for Emily's discussion with Beth on 90s fashion trends and how and why they are making a comeback in today's style.
So he came out 30 seconds.
So today I've brought Beth into the studio to talk about her fashion choices. So what's your favourite type of 90s fashion? Like a Kurt Cobain or like a clueless floral princess?
I think more Kurt Cobain, considering the amount of excessive flannels I own. And the whole kind of mum jean Converse trend is very high up on my list of favourites.
Do love mum jean. Do you wear clothes for fashion or comfort?
I'd say a bit of both, but more so leaning towards comfort.
Okay.
I think it's more dressing so you're comfortable, but also so you kind of look nice, depending on where you're going. I think dressing for the weather is also a big important.
So you'd say like 70% comfort, 30% fashion?
Yeah.
Fashion's still there?
Yeah, fashion is still there, but definitely more for comfort.
Okay. So what 90s trends do you not like?
The whole fishnets under ripped jeans kind of thing.
Do you not like that?
I hate it.
Really?
I don't understand it at all. I don't get it. It just looks weird, I think, in my opinion. Only certain people can pull it off. And then I don't like the whole camouflage cargo pants rolled up halfway up your calf with sports socks and trainers that guys seem to think is really cool at the moment.
Why do you think old trends are reoccurring?
I think that every trend that happens will go out of fashion at some point, but it's always going to come back. So the whole pleated skirt kind of schoolgirl look that was in kind of the whole clueless 90s has come back now. I think it's just nothing will ever go out of fashion forever. Things will always seem to find their way back.
Are you a fan of the word throwback?
It depends what context it's used in. So for the social media kind of hashtag throwback, in certain situations I think it's quite nice to look back on past events that you've either experienced or past things that you've done. But then I think some people just use it as an attention-seeking kind of thing to gain either more followers or likes in the whole kind of social media age.
Yeah, it is quite a popular hashtag, especially on a Thursday. Or there's a Flashback Friday as well, isn't there?
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, there's a Flashback Friday. I'm pretty sure one for most days of the week.
Going back to my attention-seeking point, yeah.
Yeah. Who is your favourite 90s celeb, would you say?
Definitely Kurt Cobain and Courtney Love. They are high up there in my kind of fashion inspirations. Courtney Love's definitely got a more feminine touch to her look, the whole kind of white summer dress, but with chunky black combat boots is a look that I think is quite iconic.
I think it's quite timeless as well.
Yeah, definitely quite timeless, and it's also quite, you can wear it in the summer, but then you can also just chuck a leather jacket on with it and then just wear it in the winter, so it fits for all kind of seasons.
I know you don't like fishnets, but I do like that kind of style with a fishnet as well. I thought that would be really nice.
With dresses, I think they can be styled quite nicely, but yeah, no, it depends how you style them.
No, I get you. Do you have any inspirational movies or characters in movies?
The Breakfast Club is my ultimate favourite film. So I think John Bender, the main character, he is just kind of perfect in the way that he's been costumed. I think the way that they've put his outfit together is just kind of the ultimate 90s grunge outfit, with the whole bandana around his boots, the big kind of jacket down to his ankles, and the flannel as well.
I'd say even his hair.
Yeah, and the whole kind of 90s boy band long swished back hair is very
in.
Yeah, no, it's very on trend at the moment.
How do you feel about that trend?
No, I love that trend. It's very comfortable, but it's also quite edgy in a way that's soft. Rachel from Friends is also a good start. So for people kind of coming into 90s fashion, I think Rachel is a good place for people to get their inspiration to then verge out in the world of kind of 90s fashion.
Why do you choose to incorporate this old trend into your everyday style?
I'd say more for comfort than anything, but it's also an edgy look that's been toned down, so it's not the kind of hardcore rock that you see. It's not in your face and it's not over the top, it's just very kind of mutual but also quite casual.
So it's like band tees. What do you think of band tees?
If you know the band, then great, all for it. If you don't know the band that you're wearing on your t-shirt, please take it off and replace it with a different one.
Because a couple of years ago it was Guns N' Roses that was really popular with all like 13-year-old girls, wasn't it?
Guns N' Roses, Iron Maiden t-shirts, all in the shops at the moment. And if you don't listen to the band, don't wear the t-shirt.
Yeah, because I find it really strange when you're in New Look and you see like a band shirt, because obviously you just think like maybe the band should just promote it, not New Look.
Yeah, no, if you listen to the band, then great, but don't wear it if you don't know them.
No, I agree. What do you think the next trend will be? Like, do you think it's going to be another era, or what do you think?
In the shops at the moment, I am starting to see some kind of 70s trends coming back in, so the whole kind of horizontal stripes, all the kind of mustardy tones, the earthy tones are coming back into style. So in places like New Look, H&M, Topshop, they're all selling that kind of floral, earthy toned kind of clothing at the moment. So I think 70s is definitely on its way back in for summer.
Yeah, no, I agree, because I feel like every time I walk into New Look, I feel like I'm in an episode of that 70s show. It'll get you.
It's definitely coming back.
So, what do you have to say about 90s fashion in general?
I think it's making a huge comeback. I think because it's a softer, more toned down version of the whole kind of 80s punk rock scene that was going on then. It's just kind of progressed into some kind of alternative grunge, so it's not as in your face, but it's still very non-mainstream. Like, you can definitely tell the difference between the mainstream and then the cold 90s grunge punk rock kind of scene. It's more, I think, kind of considered as a lifestyle, I guess. There's more of a lifestyle that comes along with it, not just as fashion, but as the way people kind of go about their daily lives. So the music they listen to, all the way up to the kind of things that they get up to during the day.
So what would you say is the main fashion trend right now? Would you say it's the 90s?
It's a difficult one. I don't think there is a big mainstream trend at the moment. I think it's all kind of meshed into one. So not everyone will wear certain trends, or just specifically one trend. I think everyone will wear or have a mixture of a couple of trends in their wardrobe, so everyone will dip in and out of kind of everything, I guess.
Okay, well, thank you for your time.
Okay, that was Emily talking to Beth on 90s fashion making a comeback. And personally, I can't agree more with that band t-shirt comment. I'm a huge Ramones fan. Nothing winds me up more than seeing someone who doesn't know who they are, thinks it's a brand, walking around like they're the world's biggest fan. Stop it. Anyway, now, the Great Escape Festival has been a hugely successful event in Brighton in recent years, attracting thousands of people and hugely talented musicians. And us as students here at Vibe like to enjoy live music from time to time. And with the festival season just around the corner, we decided to catch up with Anthony Martin, who has been an organiser at the event for several years now, to find out all the information you need to know. A few bands included on the lineup this year are Adoy, All Our Exes, live in Texas, and The Fame.
The Great Escape Festival is an annual event which takes place in Brighton and Hove every single year. It focuses on new music and up and coming acts, and features acts from around Europe and beyond. and this year it takes place between the 17th and the 19th of May. It takes place across many different venues across the city. Each act has about 30 minutes to perform on stage and to try and win over the audience, and also some music insiders, lots of music insiders at the event. There is also networking events which take place across the city, specifically tailored for labels, managers, artists themselves, and focuses on areas such as business, how to kind of future-proof yourself as well. Also gives information on social media, AI, and the different streaming services that are available as well. So lots of inside information for acts and managers who are attending the festival itself. Each country as well at the festival tends to have its own networking event, and that takes place again across the 17th to the 19th of May.
Okay, that was Anthony Martin there telling you everything you need to know about the Great Escape Festival. And like I said, it's an amazing event this year. Lots of great bands. The Fame I mentioned, Wayward Sons, another band I'm familiar with that are there. Lots of good stuff. Gender Roles are going to be there this year as well. And there's so many good venues involved as well, such as Sticky Mike's Frog Bar, Prince Albert, Patterns. It's a really good event, and if you are in the area at the time, I do seriously recommend that you go along to that event. Now, at the beginning of the show, I mentioned an interview of a punk band called Queen Z, but this is one of those interviews I've done that really stands out to me, and one that I remember well, not only because it is recent, but because Z have some great points about the purpose of punk, youth culture, and also transgender rights.
I'm Z, and I play guitar and sing in Queen Z.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So let's talk about the band to begin with for a little bit. So first of all, for people that aren't familiar with Queen Z, how would you describe your music?
MC5 playing Scissor Sisters songs.
Yeah, okay, that's a pretty clear vision there. So when you were starting out as a band, who did you look at as like inspiration? Who did you look at and think, we want to be like that?
It was a bit weird, to be honest, because we never really started as a group. It started myself demoing and Jay seeing the demos online. So I've just always kind of liked anything kind of fuzzy and noisy and kind of punky. So I don't really know what I was trying to do. I was definitely trying to do something a bit more pop orientated than the kind of hardcore bands that I've been in previously. But yeah, I'm not totally sure. Probably more pop artists, to be honest.
Alright, interesting. Yeah. So in the scene at the moment, obviously punk's got a reputation for being a genre that sort of get your voice heard, get your opinions out there. Yeah. What's it like being in the punk scene at the moment?
I mean, it's a tough one, isn't it? Because there's different punk scenes, and punk's very fractured movement. And in Liverpool we have a punk scene, but then we also have like a hardcore scene and a metal scene and so on, and they all kind of tie in. I find that one of the things people mistake with punk is they seem to think that everyone's an anarchist and everyone's out kind of fighting the fight and so on, whereas most people are still just working in NatWest and wearing suits and so on. So the views and opinions of the punk scene is the same spectrum as anywhere else. I think punk's in a really healthy place, particularly in the UK. I think there's a lot of really great stuff happening. There's not necessarily a lot of great stuff being picked up on a mainstream level or on like a commercial level. But if you dig beneath the surface, like this weekend was Manchester Punk Festival, and that lineup's incredible, and it really shows off kind of the quality of the punk scene in the UK at the moment.
Yeah, okay, so you were mentioning how the UK scene is now. Do you think that punk has evolved a lot since the original days in the late 70s?
Yeah, totally. I mean, there's still obviously bands that look back, and love those records, and even with Queen Z, people mention influences that we have that are really dated, that are kind of 40, 50, 60 years old now. But at the same time, punk has grown and changed and so on, and you've got hardcore and post-hardcore and whatever, and this genre and that genre, and it's splintered. I think what has been great within the punk scene recently is that it's kind of got focused. So I think the shock factor of punk that started back in the day, where you just said anything just to be offensive and shocking, it's now kind of, there's been almost like a movement away from that, and it's kind of gone, okay, no, let's be shocking for the right reasons, let's be shocking because my gender's not mainstream, mainstream, or let's be shocking because my sexuality is not mainstream, or so on and kind of so forth.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's like in the early days, had bands like Dead Kennedys that are making songs like I Kill Children just for the sake of being out there and dangerous and extreme, and now punk scene's more focused. So let's talk about your message quickly. What sort of... I saw you supporting Marmosettes in February, and the show in there, you had a lot of messages you were trying to put across, and do you feel like punk's a unique platform that gives you the opportunity to say that?
I don't think punk's unique. I think youth culture is unique, and I think, you know, music that comes out of any kind of form of oppression, whether that is hip-hop or grime or electro, whatever, you will be picking up the messages and the sentiments of those creators. Typically, I find that, you know, you'll have, you know, if you take a kind of a transgender artist, such as whether that is, you know, someone who identifies as non-binary and is a hip-hop artist, or someone like a trans woman fronting a punk band, you know, they're both singing about very similar struggles. So I don't think necessarily musically it's unique. What I think is unique about punk is punk not necessarily relies on a political message, but is almost like improved by having that energy. You know, sometimes you want to hear a soul song that is just, you know, full of love and passion, whereas punk, you kind of, you know, you want it to be angry, you know, you want it to be aggressive, you want it to kind of awaken something within you. So I think that's probably what is the driving force of punk.
Well, thank you for taking the time for this. I really appreciate it.
Okay, so there's the interview with Z, and if you're listening thinking MC5 playing Scissor Sisters, what does that sound like? Well, you're in luck, because this is one of Queen Z's songs now. This one is called Boy.
Okay, that was me talking to Z at the Prince Albert in Brighton, followed by their song Boy. Like I said, Z had some really interesting points and perspectives in that interview. Anyway, here is Charlie with this week's rundown.
This week on the rundown, we have an update from Kris Jenner talking about Kanye West's so-called breakdown over social media. She had told the Daily Mail in an interview that he has some good intentions within his statements and music, all shall hopefully be revealed to us all, because if everyone is as confused as me, we have no clue what's going on here. We have some new music from Ariana Grande with No Tears Left to Cry. In an interview with Jimmy Fallon, we have now been told that we will be blessed with a new album called Sweetener. I just hope the new album can match the singles. Hopefully she'll drop more number ones while she's been taking back the limelight. Talking about comebacks, we have Nicki Minaj pumping the stereos once again, coming back with mixed reviews on her new singles Chun-Li and Barbie Tings. While Chun-Li is storming the charts, Barbie Tings is slowly following behind. Maybe one single at a time, Nicki. Talking about Miss Minaj, she has made an appearance on our good old friend Post Malone's new album, Beer Pongs and Bentleys, which has given a new vibe to the hip-hop or rap community. There's just something about that guy's voice that can make you listen to it for hours. Well, that's all from this rundown. I'll be back next week for more insights on the music industry.
Okay, thank you for that, Charlie. So yesterday our other Charlie caught up with Marvel enthusiast Matthew to talk about the ambitious new superhero mashup Infinity War. Don't worry, I have been reassured there are no spoilers in this feature. Here's what he had to say.
I'm here today with Marvel fanatic Matt Tyler. We're here to talk about the brand new Marvel film Infinity War. First of all, Matt, what are your general views on the new film?
As a whole, I think the film graphically is incredibly set. I think obviously there's a lot of computer generated images and green screen used in it, but when you compare it to films of the past, even previous Marvel films, I think they've almost taken it up another level to include such detail from about beings of extraterrestrial origin, or even things about certain human life, such as Iron Man's suit sort of thing. The plot of it, I'd probably say, is one of the best movies that I've seen, not just this year, but probably in the last half a decade, maybe even a decade. There's so many different stories that kind of go on within the movie that, whilst at the time might seem separate, when it actually comes to even the movie finishing, despite the fact that everyone's only saying this is part one of Infinity War as a whole, even when the movie finishes, they all link together well to kind of finish you on a climactic point, whereby when you're watching it, without giving away any spoilers, when you watch it and the film comes to an end, you don't want to miss anything. You don't know what's going to happen next, and it leaves you on that cliffhanger.
What can you expect from the sequel?
In terms of the sequel, obviously Marvel keep everything very hush-hush, even leading up to the film that they've recently released. Whilst they've released trailers and things like that, their trailers are so cut that whilst you think you know what happens, you never really know until you've actually watched the film. So I think the sequel will be very interesting to see how they progress from the storyline that they finished part one on. I would hope that the sequel can only be bigger and better. I mean, given how previous films have gone, they're not one of these kind of studios that adding a second, third, fourth film kind of ruins the franchise. It only adds to the value of the franchise and adds to the degree at which the movies are a success, really. I think in the second one, ideally, you'd like to see the heroes overcome their problems working together, because with the three different levels of heroes that there are, you've got your cosmic heroes, you've got your reality heroes, and then you've got almost your intergalactic heroes sort of thing. I think the fact that they're all working together will produce some kind of fireworks, whether it be a massive battle towards the end, or whether it be a lot of characters end up not being in the franchise anymore. But I think overall when the film is done and it is out there for everyone, I think everything will be made clear. Obviously, we know that since Infinity War Part 1 is coming out, there is going to be another 3, 4, maybe even 5 films before the second part comes out as to finish the whole franchise off as a thing. And I think in these 3 or 4 films, we're going to see a lot of individual storylines of some characters we've already seen, such as Scarlet Witch and things like that, and Scarlett Johansson's character of Black Widow. But I think we're also due to see a whole load of other superheroes like Captain Marvel, who's meant to be the most powerful person within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So I think, there will be more characters added to the final battle scene, maybe against Thanos or against some other kind of villain that's got a huge amount of power. I think it will only add to the thrills and excitement of potentially what is set up to be one of the greatest action-packed movies maybe ever created, sort of thing.
So I've got a little stat for you here. It says the first 18 movies since 2008 have made £14 billion.
You take into account, and people say, oh, what's the highest gross selling character or whatever, and people say Spider-Man, Iron Man, things like that. So I think the Avengers have hit the nail on the head, and Marvel have hit the nail on the head of making characters that are liked by people that will make enough revenue for them to then fund the next movie, sort of thing. So I think they've done that very, very well. Yeah, I suppose obviously everything comes to an end at a time. Like, if you compare it to another movie, a movie like kind of stance that's gone on for quite a long time, especially if you look at the Harry Potters. So I think they did 6-7 movies, all very successful movies, and even that they still came to an end. They had to call it a time, sort of thing. So I think it will come to an end, and I think Marvel have obviously they release the different phases of their movies, and I think they've got the plan of how it will come to an end, and they've roughly told you what to expect as an ending. So I think they've said Infinity War Part 2 will pretty much be the end of everything, and will probably end the movies. But well, making 14 billion since 2008, I mean, it's a hell of a lot of money anyway. I know they've done 18 films, so there's enough money in it from people going to the cinema and things like that. But even if you think that the recent Avengers, I think within the first week, 2 weeks, has gone past $1 billion in terms of revenue, from figures sold to people going to the cinema to see it and things like that. So if they can make a movie like that, and I think they've got another 4 or 5 others that have all reached past that £1 billion mark, if they can churn out movies that are £1 billion or more, then you've got to say, okay, you've got to keep doing it to make this money, to keep the actors, to keep people interested.
One final question for you. When the Hulk gets big, how do his pants stay on?
Elastic waists. I think let's make it clear first. I think, given the fact that Marvel probably rate their films at about a 12A maximum, I think it's probably of vital importance that his pants do stay on. I mean, I know he turns green everywhere that we can visibly see, but I think having his pants stay on is probably an area that is best left to the imagination. I think the best way for him to probably there's probably 2 ways that he can keep his pants on: either by oversized baggy trousers with a waist of about 50 inches, or an extremely expandable waist on the trousers.
But apparently, according to a 2015 report, Disney said that Hulk's pants are actually made of a stretchy microfiber that grows with him.
Oh, fair enough. Okay, I didn't know that one. I don't know. He might have enlisted Tony Stark to make some, given his recent addition to his Iron Man suit in Infinity War, and even Spider-Man's suit in Infinity War. Yeah, it probably makes sense for someone with a technological background to have some input in the design of his trousers to make sure that they stay in the desired place.
Thank you so much for coming to speak with us today, Matt. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been really good to talk about the Marvel film. Go and check it out, because whilst it's action packed, sad in some ways, I would probably say it's gonna be rated film of the summer, maybe even film of the year, because of the level of detail that they've put into it and how they've constructed it.
Well, if you weren't hyped about Infinity War already, I'm sure you are now. I've not seen it yet, but I've heard it is an absolute rollercoaster of a film. One person I know, hard as nails, cried 3 times in the film. Yeah, okay, ladies and gentlemen, that marks the end of the show. Thank you all for tuning in today, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks also to Queen Z, Beth Woodcock, Matt Tyler, Anthony Martin, all the people here at Vibe that have made today's show possible. My name is Aaron Chandler. This has been The Vibe, and thank you for tuning in again. I'll see you all next week.
Sexual. Now she's going to walk in and be like, did you record it?
Oh, stop it.
Get in the bin.
What, I'm using them.
Oh, that was literally perfectly on time though.
I'm a boss.
Actually was.
That was so good.
Right, let's go see what she has to say.
Do you need to stop recording the camera or anything?
No, I don't know.
It's just when we go through and goes, okay, that's a solid C minus.
Yeah.
So this is the bit where we go through and goes,